Not to frighten you, not to make you anxious, but to remind you that life is short, that time is borrowed, and that what you do now matters. Most people live like they'll never die, but when death finally comes, it doesn't ask if you're ready. It just comes. So before it does, let's talk about what death is really trying to teach us, about how it might be the most honest mirror life ever offers. We tend to measure life by how long it is, years lived, milestones reached, goals checked off. But what if that's the wrong question? What if the real question is, how deeply did I live the time I had? Not how much I owned, not how many people praised me, but how honestly I loved, how present I was with those who mattered, how courageously I stood for what I knew was right, even when it was inconvenient. Death doesn't diminish life, it sharpens it. It makes everything clearer. What matters and what never did. That argument you dragged on for months, the job title you fought for, the person you ghosted because pride got in the way. At the end, most of it feels like static. What stays is different. A moment of real connection, a word you said that healed someone, a night where you simply listened without needing to fix or impress. Death strips away the noise, and what's left is the truth. They say death has no favorites, but it has a strange way of revealing what truly mattered. When people are close to the end, they don't talk about money. They don't list career achievements. They don't regret not buying a bigger house. What they say is quieter and far more human. The first regret? I wish I had lived true to myself, not the life others expected of me. So many live to please, to meet expectations, to avoid conflict. They bury their dreams, mute their voices, and by the time they realize it, they spent years living someone else's version of their life. The second regret? I wish I had stayed in touch with people who mattered. We assume they'll always be there. We delay the visit. We postpone the call. But time doesn't pause, and one day that person is gone, and all you're left with is silence where a voice used to be. And the third? I wish I had allowed myself to be happy, not the kind of happy that looks perfect on the outside, but the quiet kind, the messy, imperfect, grateful kind, the kind where you laugh even when life's not perfect, where you stop performing and start being. Most people don't fear dying. They fear dying with the feeling that they never truly lived. Most people don't really fear death. They fear dying while still disconnected from themselves, from the people they love, from the kind of life they were meant to live. It's not death that haunts us. It's the quiet ache of knowing, I spent so much time being careful, but forgot to be real. You don't need more time. You need more clarity, more presence, more courage to stop running in circles and start walking in the direction that actually means something. Because when you stop for long enough, you realize how much noise is filling your life. How many things you're doing out of fear. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of not being enough. But death isn't impressed by performance. It isn't interested in who you pretended to be. It wants to know, who were you when no one was watching? What did you choose when no one was clapping? Death isn't a threat. It's a mirror. It doesn't ask you to panic. It asks you to pay attention, to ask yourself, is this who I really want to be? Is this what I want to leave behind? You don't have to change your whole life today, but maybe you can stop postponing what your soul has been whispering for years. Not someday, not when things are perfect, now before it's too late. Death isn't the period at the end of the sentence. It's the punctuation that makes us reread everything that came before it. A silent exhale that forces us to question whether we've really been breathing at all. It reminds us that nothing lasts forever, and yet everything we do leaves a mark. Not always a grand legacy, but the kind that lingers quietly in someone's memory. A conversation, a small kindness, a moment when you chose presence over performance. We spend years chasing a life we think will finally feel like ours, only to realize we've been running past it the entire time. We wait for clarity. We wait for permission. We wait for the right time. But death doesn't wait. And maybe that's a lesson. What if death isn't the enemy, but the friend who reminds you to look up, to drink your coffee without rushing, to hold eye contact for more than a second, to laugh, really laugh, without calculating how you look, to say I love you without the need to be perfect first. You don't need to escape your life. You need to return to it, awake, honest, and willing to feel everything before it's gone. This isn't the end. This is the invitation. You don't need to live forever to live fully. You don't need a perfect life. You just need one moment. Live with attention, with honesty, and with a little more courage than yesterday. Because in the end, it's not how long you lived, but how much of yourself you actually brought into the life you had. Most people die with something still locked inside them, a truth they never told, a love they never expressed, a version of themselves they were too afraid to become. They were waiting for permission, waiting to be less tired, more healed, more certain. But life doesn't wait, and neither does death. So maybe the question isn't, how much time do I have left? But rather, what am I doing with the time I still have? If you're still breathing, you're not too late. You haven't missed your chance. Your story isn't finished. And the next chapter, the one that really matters, can begin now. So take the risk, speak the truth, say the apology, say the love. Start the thing you've been putting off. Let go of what's already gone and hold close what's still within reach. Because one day the clock will stop. But right now, you still have a say in how the rest of your story goes.